Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. It is Dead Pixel coming at you, and we're going to talk today about the Pokemon Direct that just happened. And man, was it a good one. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan. I do play them occasionally, but I have been kind of disenfranchised from the genre, from these games since Pokemon like Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire. Those two games were kind of the last ones I was super into. Now, I've dabbled here and there. I played a good amount of Pokemon X and Y. I played a good amount of Pokemon Sun and Moon. And Pokemon Let's Go was actually the one that I've played the most in the last several years, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought there was a lot of cool ideas there. I thought they changed up the formula. I thought they did a lot of neat, cool things. And what I was really expecting from this was for them to come out and say, we're going to take Pokemon Sun and Moon and we're going to add in all the cool stuff from Pokemon Let's Go. Boom, ship it. And I thought that that's what we were going to see here, and I was going to be totally happy with that. Maybe not ecstatic, but I was going to probably buy the game based off of that. Instead, what we got was a really cool trailer that had some cool surprises, and then they continued to talk about the game and point out some things that I didn't really care about, and point out some things that were kind of dumb, and pointed out some things that were really cool and got me even more excited for the game. So I think overall it surpassed my expectations. This was a good start for this. I don't know. I mean, this really isn't part of E3, but I'm considering it part of E3 because it's happening so close. I mean, in the same way, I kind of consider a Death Stranding trailer part of E3, even though it didn't really happen with E3. It's not really associated with E3. I mean, Sony's not even going to be at E3. They're not having a press conference. So, yeah, it isn't, but I consider it because it's so close, and they're obviously releasing it here because E3 is so close. So I think that both of... So I'm going to consider both of this this Direct and that Death Stranding trailer as part of E3, even though it's really not. So let's talk about this Direct. So they had this cool trailer. There was a few cool things that I noticed about it. It looks like the Pokemon random encounters are gone. We're back to the Pokemon just kind of wandering around the map. The gym battles have been moved into stadiums where there's crowds. They kind of pointed to some things there that made me think that there might be some sort of mechanic where the crowd gets excited or less excited based on how the battle is going, which is a really neat idea and mechanic that I have wanted a game to implement for years. This is something I've talked to friends about, that it would be a cool idea that if, like, having a fight in a stadium and having the crowd react and be part of the game, trying to get the crowd as excited about you as possible, I think is a really cool mechanic. Do they think that they're going to have something quite that robust here? No, but it would be cool if the crowd would react to what's going on in the battle. The graphics look incredible. I'm really impressed by the art style. I thought everything looked really good. They have a weather cycle here that will affect what kind of Pokemon you're encountering out in the wild, which is a neat idea that I hope that they probably don't lean too much on, because in the past I thought day-night cycles could get a little tedious, and a day-night cycle is actually easier to work with than something like a weather system that is random, most likely. Weather systems, you don't know when the next sandstorm's going to happen, for example, but when night's coming, right? You know that, whatever time in the game that the sun goes down, and then you can go and look for the night Pokemon. So I hope that they maybe don't lean on that too much, or they have some way of you influencing the weather, but, whatever. Fast travel has changed. No longer using fly. It looks like you're going up to statues and calling what they call a taxi, but it's a bird Pokemon that comes and gets you and takes you back to any town you've been to before. So I'm guessing now you're going to go into towns, you're going to unlock these fast travel points, and you're going to be able to travel around with these bird Pokemon, which is cool. I think that's a good addition. I think getting rid of fly, perhaps you'll get access to this a little bit earlier in the game so that you're not waiting to get fly to be able to travel back to places you've been. I think that would be a great change in addition to the game. They have raid battles, which is something they're adding in from Pokemon Go, which I think is a great idea and mechanic. That gives you another thing to do with people that is kind of PvE, so that there isn't just PvP stuff, which I think is a huge addition to Pokemon. And I hope that they have come up with more stuff like this, because I think it's a great idea. I was totally surprised and blown away by that. It looks like they've replaced Mega Evolution with this mechanic where your Pokemon become like 30 stories tall and just have like more powerful versions of the attacks that they had before. I think I might prefer Mega Evolution, but this is a neat idea nonetheless, and it's kind of leads into those raid battles that I was just talking about, where the raid battles are essentially you're fighting these 30-story tall Pokemon with your regular little Pokemon with 3 other people. So I think that's a neat idea. Overall, I thought the new Pokemon that they showed looked a little dopey. I'm not like feeling them too much. I'm sure I'll get used to them just like I have every previous generation. And if I'm honest, every new generation, I mean, I think that they're struggling a little bit at this point. There's so many Pokemon, it's hard to come up with new kinds of them. And with every generation, I'm less and less into it, to be honest. But it's also one of those things that, like, by the time the next generation rolls around, I'm totally used to it, for the most part, you know, if I've played the game enough. So it's never really bugs me more than, like, initially, like, I don't know about these Pokemon. Then you're like, whatever, new Pokemon. So, not a big deal. I did think that the new Legendaries that they showed looked kind of new and interesting and different. The Sword Pokemon in particular I thought was a cool design, though the Shield Pokemon is an interesting design too. I just couldn't decide if I thought he looked stupid, but he's got these kind of things on his face that kind of form together to make a shield, which is kind of a neat idea. I think they're at least unique. You know, I like the idea of them moving into trying stuff other than just like basing stuff after animals and kind of trying to start basing things after things, basing Pokemon after things. So I think that that's a good idea that could potentially help them. Let me look through here and just take a look at my notes. One thing that I noticed is it doesn't look like the Pokemon can follow you anymore. So that's something I would have liked them to take from Pokemon Let's Go and add into this game that it doesn't look like is here. I wonder if there is any sort of mechanic to play with the Pokemon. They didn't show anything like that, which makes me wonder if they've just taken that stuff out. It's kind of six of one, half dozen of the other. I don't really care for the playing with the Pokemon too much. It's kind of cute and it's kind of funny, but I don't really find myself doing it too much. The thing that I was hoping they would have, though, was the ability to, have the Pokemon out, ride the Pokemon, things like that. I think that was a super cool addition for Let's Go. That was one of the things that definitely pulled me in, and I was hoping that they would have here, but, it's not a big deal. The rest of this stuff looks so cool that I don't think I mind. Overall, I think the game looks really good. I'm glad that they're moving it onto a more powerful console, right? I mean, I know technically the Switch is still a handheld, but it is also a home console, and it's awesome to see them do a fully fledged console version of Pokemon, and it looks awesome. The graphics look so good. It is really pretty. I do think that the guys over at Game Freak are tremendously talented in a lot of ways. So I'm excited for this game. I think that this is definitely going to be, at the end of E3 when I come up with my list of best games, I think that this game definitely has a chance of making it into my top 10. I was very pleasantly surprised by it, and I'm 100% going to get it when it comes out. So, thank you guys for listening, and I will be back tomorrow so that we can talk about the Google event, which I am tentatively excited for. I think Google has a chance to really do some cool things. So I am going to be back for that. So if you are at all interested in hearing what Google has to say about the future of video games, stop back in here. And if you liked the Pokemon, or if you didn't like the Pokemon Direct, leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. I want to hear what you guys think. And as always, it would be great if you would like and subscribe. Do what you want. If you like it, like it. If you don't. And thank you guys for listening. Bye.